In the quiet stillness of the night long after the rain had stopped, the earth lay in silence. The air was fresh, crisp, washed clean. Above, the sky stretched wide and deep, painted with countless stars, each one softly glowing, like tiny lamps placed by the hand of God. And there upon a mountain rested a great wooden ark. It no longer swayed with the waves. No more storms raged, no more thunder echoed. Just peace, just silence, just the deep, soothing breath of the world slowly beginning again. Inside the ark, animals lay asleep. Lions curled beside lambs, elephants breathing slowly in the dark, birds tucked beneath their wings. And in a small wooden corner of the ark sat Noah, old gentle Noah with a long beard and tired eyes. He held a small lantern, its flame flickering softly, casting golden light on the wooden walls around him. He was not worried. He was not afraid. He was at peace. Noah listened, not to the sounds of the storm, but to the quiet. The kind of quiet that feels full and warm, like a gentle blanket for the soul. He thought of how far they had come, of the great flood, of the days of rain, of the weeks of waiting. And now, finally, the stillness. He whispered a soft prayer, not with words, but with his heart, a whisper of thanks, of trust, of hope. And in return, the wind outside whispered back, a gentle hush, like God breathing over the mountains. The stars twinkled as if to say, "Well done." Noah smiled. He leaned back against the wooden beam. He closed his eyes, lantern still warm in his hands, and slowly, gently, he drifted into peaceful rest. Just as you can now, let the quiet of the ark fill your heart. Let the stars above wrap you in peace. Let God's promise, silent, strong, and everlasting, rest over you like a soft covering. You are safe. You are loved. You are not alone. Long before the ark, before the rain, before the mountain and the stars, the world was different. It was full of noise, of chaos, of people who had forgotten God. They filled the earth with pride and violence, and slowly, the world lost its peace. But among them, one man still walked with God, quietly, humbly. While others ran and shouted and fought, Noah listened. While others filled the earth with fear, Noah filled his heart with faith. Each morning, Noah would rise early. He'd look at the sunrise and whisper prayers into the breeze. And though he didn't hear God's voice like thunder, he felt it, in the wind, in the stillness, in his heart. And God saw Noah. In the middle of a stormy world, Noah's heart was steady, so God came close and whispered a calling. "Noah, build an ark." Noah listened. He didn't ask, "Why me?" He didn't fear the size of the task. He trusted. He believed. He obeyed, even when others laughed, even when the sky was still clear. Each day, Noah worked slowly with wood and nails. Animals watched from the trees. Birds flew overhead. And while the world rushed past him, Noah stayed focused. Step by step, plank by plank, faith built into every board. And at night, when the world grew quiet, Noah would sit under the stars and rest. He didn't see the whole picture, but he trusted the one who did. Sometimes we feel small. Sometimes the world feels loud and lost. But like Noah, we can walk with God, quietly, steadily, even when no one else does. And just like Noah, you too are seen. You are known. You are never forgotten. Each morning, as the mist lifted from the earth, Noah rose with the sun. He stretched his hands, weathered and strong, and walked toward the great beams of wood laid out before him. The ark was not just a project. It was a promise, a mission, a quiet act of faith. He worked with care, placing each plank with patience. The sound of hammers echoed through the trees, and not loud or harsh, but rhythmic, like a song of obedience. Birds chirped above. A deer watched from the brush. Even the earth seemed to pause as Noah built. People passed by, shaking their heads. Some laughed, some scoffed, others whispered behind his back. "Rain?" He says rain will come. But Noah didn't shout back. He didn't argue. He just kept building. One evening, as the sun dipped low, God spoke again. His voice was gentle, but firm. "Noah," he said, "take with you 2 of every kind, male and female, birds, animals, creatures of the land." Noah bowed his head. He understood. The time was drawing near. Noah began gathering. Birds flew in flocks from distant trees. Foxes, tigers, sheep, and lions all came walking in peace. There was no fighting, only calm, only order. Even the wild obeyed the voice of God. He prepared food. He lined the rooms. He made space for every creature, and all the while he whispered quiet prayers under his breath. "Lord, I don't understand everything, but I trust you." And still, the sky was clear, the fields were green, the rivers were calm, no sign of the coming storm. But Noah believed, not because of what he saw, but because of what he heard. Sometimes faith doesn't shout. It doesn't need signs or applause. It simply builds and waits, and so Noah built. And so Noah waited. The ark was ready. Its wooden frame stood tall and strong, a shelter in a world that did not yet know it needed shelter. Inside, the animals rested. Noah's family moved quietly, placing the final baskets of food, folding cloth, lighting lanterns. Outside, the air had changed. It was still, but watchful. And then, a single drop, soft, gentle, like a tear falling from heaven. It landed on Noah's hand as he stood at the ark's door. He looked up. More drops followed, then more. The sky wept slowly at first, like it was remembering something. Noah whispered to his sons, "It is time." The animals were quiet. They seemed to understand. The door to the ark creaked as it closed. Slow, heavy, final. And behind it, God sealed them in. Outside, the rain became steady. Drops turned into streams, streams into rivers. The ground darkened, the sky lowered, and yet inside the ark, there was calm. Noah sat with his family. They listened to the sound of rain on the roof, to the rhythm of trust. Thunder rumbled in the distance, but it was not angry. It was deep, slow, like the voice of the earth sighing. The rain had come to wash, to cleanse, to begin again. Noah looked at his wife. She smiled gently, not because everything made sense, but because they were safe. Not because they had all the answers, but because they were in the hands of the one who did. The rain poured for hours, then days, then weeks, but inside, there was no panic, only routine, only prayer, only peace. Sometimes God asks us to step into something before we see the reason. Sometimes He closes a door to keep us safe. Even when the storms rage outside, His presence brings calm inside. Days passed, then weeks. The rain poured and poured, and yet inside the ark, all was still. Noah walked through wooden hallways lit by warm lanterns. The walls creaked softly. The animals shifted gently in their stalls, and overhead, the sound of rain. Steady, like a lullaby. Every day, Noah followed the same routine. He fed the animals, checked the wood, spoke with his sons. He didn't rush, he didn't worry. Every moment he trusted. The lions slept peacefully. The sheep rested together, their soft breaths rising and falling. Birds chirped only in the morning, then curled into quiet corners. Even the wild beasts had found rest. At night, Noah would sit by the small window in his room. He looked out at the endless water. The moonlight danced gently on the waves, and though he couldn't see land, he wasn't afraid. God was near. Inside the ark, there was no noise of the world. No shouting, no fear, just family or faith and the presence of peace. Noah didn't know how long the wait would be, but he knew that God had not forgotten them. He remembered the voice, the one who called him to build, the one who sealed the door, the one who made the animals come, 2 by 2. And that voice, that presence, was still with them, even in the waiting. Sometimes waiting is the hardest part, but in the waiting we grow. In the quiet, we hear God better. In the stillness, We learn to trust more deeply. And in the ark, Noah was not just surviving. He was resting. He was believing. And then, one morning, Noah awoke to silence. The rain had stopped. No drops on the roof. No wind against the wood. Just stillness. He sat up slowly, heart quiet. He climbed the wooden steps to the window, and when he looked out, the waters were calm, stretching far and wide. The storm was over. The sky was open, but there was no land. Not yet. Days passed, then more. The ark drifted gently, carried by the wind, surrounded by silence. Noah didn't rush. He waited, because he knew. When it was time, God would show the way. One morning, Noah opened the small hatch near the roof, and from his hand a black raven took flight. It soared over the water, searching, but it returned. There was still nowhere to land. 7 days later, he tried again. This time he sent a dove. It flew into the sky, its white wings glowing in the light. Noah watched and waited, but again, the dove returned, its wings tired. Noah waited again, another 7 days. He fed the animals, prayed with his family, and one morning, he opened the window and released the dove again. This time, it returned, but in its beak was a single olive leaf. Noah held the leaf in his hand, smiling, a sign of life, a whisper from the earth, a message from God. The waters were going down, the promise was near. Sometimes hope comes slowly, in tiny signs. A leaf, a breeze, a gentle silence. But in God's time, the waiting ends, and when it does, new life begins. The ark came to rest on a mountaintop. It didn't shake, it didn't drift, it settled, gently, like a boat coming home. The sky above was clear now, blue and deep and wide, as if creation had exhaled. Noah opened the door slowly. Warm air brushed against his face. He stepped outside, and for the first time in many months, he placed his feet on the earth. It was quiet, sacred, soft beneath his sandals. The animals followed one by one in calm and peace. Lions, doves, deer, bears, each pair walking gently, side by side, into the new world. There was no rushing, only peace, only order. Noah stood on a hill and built an altar from stone, not out of duty, but out of deep, quiet gratitude. He closed his eyes and whispered, "Thank you for keeping us." And then, the clouds above parted, and a light filled the sky. A ribbon of colors stretched across the heavens, red, orange, violet. A rainbow, not just light, a promise. And God spoke softly, lovingly, "This is the sign of my covenant. Never again will I destroy the earth with a flood. When you see the rainbow, remember my promise." Noah stood silently. He didn't need to speak. The sky had spoken, and peace, deep, lasting peace, settled over the land. A new world had begun. When the storms of life pass and we step into quiet ground once again, God always leaves a sign, a rainbow of promise. A whisper that says, "I was with you through it all." Now the ark is behind us. The rain has passed, the sky is clear, and the earth is quiet. Noah and his family sleep in warm homes again. The animals roam free in the green valleys, and above them, always, the rainbow remains. You too have weathered storms. You faced long nights, unsure when the sky would clear. But just like Noah, you were never alone. God carried you, even when it was dark, even when it was silent. He was guiding the ark of your life through every wave. And now, it is time to rest. Let go of the worries. Let go of the noise. Let the silence of the stars surround you. Let the rhythm of God's peace rock you gently, like the ark on calm waters. Close your eyes, breathe deep. God is near. You are safe, you are loved, you are held, just like Noah, in the arms of promise. If this story brought you peace tonight, and don't forget to like this video. It helps others find rest too. And if you want more calming Bible stories like this, subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss a moment of peace. May God's promises surround you as you sleep. Good night, and God bless.